breaking news. The Attorney General of the United States, Jeff Sessions, just a little while ago, removed himself from any role in possible investigations of Russia's role in the U.S. presidential election. Sessions' stunning announcement comes amid a political firestorm touched off by the disclosure that the Attorney General met with Russia's ambassador to the United States twice last year during the campaign. I want you to listen to what Sessions said just a little while ago.
My reply to the question of Senator Franken was honest and correct as I understood it at the time. I appreciate that some have taken the view that this was a false comment. That is not my intent. That is not correct. I was taken aback a little bit about this brand new information, this allegation that surrogates, and I had been called a surrogate for Donald Trump, had been meeting continuously with Russian officials, and that's what it struck me very hard, and that's what I focused my answer on. And retrospect, if I should have slowed down and said, but I did meet one Russian official a couple of times, that would be the ambassador.
Yeah, with retrospect, he said he should have volunteered the information that, yes, he didn't discuss, he says, political issues with the ambassador, but he did meet with the ambassador at the Republican National Convention in Cleveland, brief meeting with others, but a substantive meeting in his Senate office with the ambassador. Two of his aides were present. Joining us now, the top Democrat on the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee, Representative Elijah Cummings of Maryland. Congressman, thanks very much for joining us.
Wolf, it's good to be with you.
All right, so you wanted Sessions not just to recuse himself from any investigation, but to actually resign. Did the Attorney General go far enough by recusing himself, at least today?
No, he didn't. As a matter of fact, Wolf, he left me with more questions than before he started. We don't, first of all, I'm glad that he did recuse himself. The question is, how far does that recusal go? Is it just up until the election day? Because a lot of the concerns that all of us as Americans should have is what went on before the election and whether there was talk of taking down the sanctions and things of that nature that would have been for after the election. So I have a lot of concerns. I do, Wolf, we Democrats and others have been asking him to recuse himself for a few weeks. And suddenly now he says, because he's talked to his ethics people, that he is going to recuse himself. And they told him that he should do it because he was involved in the campaign. Give me a break. He is the #1 law enforcement officer in the country. He has been a U.S. attorney for the state of Alabama. And as an attorney, he knows, and I know, that there are certain things that you don't have to talk to the ethics people about. You know it. And when you come before a committee, Wolf, the Judiciary Committee, in a confirmation hearing, and you tell them that you have had no communication with the Russians, and you volunteer the information, and you know how important every syllable you say is, then I really wonder about that. And then suddenly, I found it interesting that he got a memory today. That was very interesting, that he remembered some things and he didn't remember other things. There's one more thing, Wolf, that got me a little concerned. What we have seen in the Oversight Committee in the House is when somebody comes before our committee and then say they forgot something or under sworn testimony, and then they want to correct it, they then come back and say, oh, let me tell you, I forgot this, or I should have told you this. This would have never come out. I don't think this would have ever come out if it were not for the drip-drab of the press bringing these things out. And so I'm still concerned. I do not think it was enough. I think he left a lot of questions unanswered. The other thing that concerns me too, Wolf, is that I don't know what he knows now. In other words, he should have recused himself a long time ago. He's been sitting around, I guess, talking to Comey and the FBI and others. We don't know what he knows. So it's going to be interesting to see what he sends to the Judiciary Committee to try to clear the record. But I can tell you that I'm still not satisfied. I'm concerned. And I think that we as a country and we as a judicial system are better than that.
Do you believe, Congressman, that the investigation needs an independent special prosecutor if the acting Deputy Attorney General, who happens to be an Obama appointee, handles the investigation? What do you want to see happen right now as far as the overall investigation?
What I want is what I've been saying I've wanted for the last 2 or 3 months. The bill that Congressman Swalwell of California and I put forth for an independent 9/11 type of investigation. I'm not interested in having senators on a panel. I'm not interested in having congressmen on a panel. Keep in mind, Wolf, that I was the ranking member of the Benghazi committee, and in many ways that was a fiasco because it got caught up in politics. What I want to see are an equal number of well-established citizens who truly care about America, people that we highly respect, to look at this thing very carefully, have subpoena power, an equal number appointed by Democrats and Republicans, and for them to then come back with findings and then recommendations as to how we never let this happen again. I'm tired of the drib-drab. We get a drop here. We have President Trump saying nobody has had any contact with the Russians. Then we found out that his son-in-law had communications. We find out that Flynn had communications. We find out that all these other people had communications. We need to take this into an independent situation. Let reputable citizens look at it and come back with findings and recommendations.
Do you believe that the Attorney General perjured himself as a senator when, during his confirmation hearings, he told Senator Al Franken under questioning, "I did not have communications with the Russians," and then in a written response to Senator Patrick Leahy, the question was, "Have you been in contact with anyone connected to any part of the Russian government about the 2016 election, either before or after Election Day?" His answer was a simple no. Do you believe he perjured himself?
Wolf, I'm not sure. I want to look at all the evidence. As a lawyer, I'm not going to do what the Republicans have done on my committee, where they come to all of these conclusions before they have all the evidence. But I can tell you one thing, on his face, I don't think that the Attorney General, if that was one of his people and they did what he did, I believe that he would fire them. And I can tell you, as a lawyer of more than 30 years, certain conduct from lawyers is just not acceptable. As a matter of fact, this is the kind of conduct that could get you disbarred. And so that's the real problem. And this is the #1 law enforcement officer in the United States. And your audience needs to understand this. He is over all of the law enforcement officers in the country. He is over the FBI. So we need to have the very best there, and we don't need to have any question marks behind the person who is in charge.
One quick question. You're the ranking Democrat on the Oversight Committee. Do you have confidence that the chairman will work together with you and pursue these issues that you're concerned about? We're talking about Jason Chaffetz.
No, I do not.
Why?
Because we have asked, we were presented with 43 items with regard to what we will be looking at over the next 2 years. Democrats asked to look at the emoluments clause and a number of everything, and on a party vote, every single thing we wanted to do to look at this, the situation with President Trump and all the conflicts of interest and other things, they voted down. I think basically what the Republicans have done is pretty much circled the wagon, and in some instances, and I hate to say it, it hurts me to say it, but have put party first. Now, there are exceptions, and I applaud Lindsey Graham and McCain and Portman and others, but we've got to put country first. This is, you've heard me say this before, Wolf, this is bigger than Trump. This is about saving our democracy. And I've seen that chipping away at the very fabric of that democracy. And now we need to have a true investigation, independent folks looking at this who care about America, because this is bigger than us. This is not just about now. This is about generations yet unborn, and us passing on a democracy that is even better than the one that was in existence when we were born.
Congressman Elijah Cummings of Maryland, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, let's get some insights now from our experts who are here. And David Chalian, let me start with you. It took him a long time, the Attorney General, to decide to recuse himself from any of these investigations. Why did it take